Hi everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter and that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Good Place, which is a new comedy pilot from NBC, stars Kristen Bell and Ted Danson, that's his face, and it's a comedy about heaven, hence the title. And the conceit of the show is that Kristen Bell's character has been put there by accident. She's not actually that nice a person. She has been selfish and she has never really been considerate of other people's feelings, and she now has to try and learn to be good and hope that no one finds out that she should actually be in the bad place. So
Aye.
so that's the plot. So no spoilers, at least until we warn you otherwise. I don't see us doing a lot of spoilers for this. It doesn't seem like the
Nah,
kind of show that will need that, but you never know. So this was a double episode. They started with episode 1 and 2. The first one is just called Pilot, and the second one's called Flying. And that said, it really did feel like one long episode. Even though it comes up saying chapter 2 in the middle, it felt like by the end of the whole 42-minute
that
chunk.
was the opening arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because obviously, most of these first two episodes is Kristen Bell's character named Eleanor trying to convince her soulmate, which is one of the big points they bring up in the show, is that soulmates are real, and as soon as you get to the good place, you find out who your soulmate is. And although obviously it's not really her soulmate because she's not really who they think she is, so her soulmate Chidi, who happens to be a moral professor in ethics, like
Yeah, some professor of morals
in
and
ethics, yeah.
yeah.
So she's trying to convince him to help her become a better person, so she doesn't get sent to hell, and that's the whole idea of the show. Um, and it's all right. I think it's got potential, but it's not quite there yet.
I don't think it's weird because obviously it's a comedy. I don't think it's massively funny. I feel like it spends too much time having to set up the situation.
Yeah. Um, the only times I really got a good laugh tended to be some character lines, like maybe the way they tackle a situation was slightly funny, but I wasn't getting a whole lot of laughs out of the actual premise.
Me either, but we say it all the time. Sitcoms, the premise is kind of important if the characters are good. This is something I feel like, obviously, now that the plot set up, maybe in 10, 12 episodes' time, and you kind of develop the characters a bit more, this could be very good.
Because the few times I did laugh, a couple of them were Christian Bell, and the other time was Ted Danson. So at least it was two different members of the cast that did make me laugh at different points. We have the whole running plot. The Eleanor's neighbours are this like over the top English woman and her soulmate, who's a silent monk.
I'll be honest, I did laugh a little bit at them as well. The idea that she keeps trying to prod him into talking.
It got a little bit funnier as it went on, but it wasn't like immediately.
It wasn't funny at first, but it was like every time, like when you can see her, she gets frustrated with the idea of it.
Yeah. Um, I think obviously it sets up the main plot. It sets up the ongoing thing that she's going to be worried that someone might find out, other than her soulmate, who she's sworn to secrecy, to try and help her. Like, there's going to be the constant threat of someone finding her out. It's almost like a really weird, like, happier version of something like Breaking Bad, where the main character has a secret, but
It is, yeah.
in this case, instead of secretly cooking meth and becoming a kingpin, it's a lot.
Secretly, they're just downright average.
Yeah, just an average person who's a little bit selfish. Yeah. Well, I say a little. The flashback. I'm sure the flashbacks of her during life will be something that's an ongoing thing, where she'll say, you know, I've never been this, and then it'll cut to X scene of her being like this awful person.
Yeah, I can see some good laughs coming from that format.
But as for this first double episode, it's fine. It's kind of like it's got a few laughs. It never feels like it's going too slow. It goes along at a nice brisk pace. It's, you know, both Kirsten Bell and Ted Danson, and Chidi as well to an extent, but he's kind of the straight man, so he's not as,
Yeah.
whereas they two are instantly quite likable. Because Ted Danson's character is very much, he's not actually a human, he's, I don't have to specify if he's like an angel, but he's taken human form because he's like, this is his jurisdiction, this place that she's in
Yeah.
specifically, and he's running the town. So when things start to go wrong, him like getting anxiety because he's not doing a good job, it makes for some fun stuff. And he is quite likable, she's quite likable, and the whole thing has this aura of like being kind of sweet in a weird way. Well, she's the cynical element. Obviously, what makes it stand out against other comedies is its over the top premise. In fact, because of its setting, there's probably more visual effects in this than you probably get on just about every other sitcom that's probably been made in the last like 5 years.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
We've got giant animals, we've got people flying, we've got
Raining's trash.
yeah, like even the overall feel of it, like everything's obviously a set or like a backlot or stuff they've had to make because it has a very specific look and feel to it.
Yeah.
So I have to imagine that for a sitcom, this is quite expensive.
Yeah. I will say the idea that it's all a set, it gets away with it because even though it's noticeably like
Fake looking.
fake
Yeah.
looking, it's not on Earth, so it kind of it just kind of
It works. Yeah.
works. Yeah.
Yeah. It works being kind of fake. Yeah. But yeah, I will probably watch more of this and see how it progresses. That said, I don't think it's something we'll be covering week to week. I don't see us having a whole lot to say
No.
as it goes on, because it is kind of like it's the same with a lot of sitcoms, but there's just not a whole lot to talk about beyond reiterating jokes that we thought were funny. And I don't think there's much value in that, but it's worth doing the first episode and telling people if it's worth to check out. And no, I think the next time we return to a lot of these comedies will be in the end of year awards when we can have like okay, so what were the good comedies this year, and like now that we've had like 10 episodes of each of them.
Yeah, maybe at the end of the season, if we've been watching a bunch of them still, we'll do a bit of a roundup and say which
Yeah.
ones were worth sticking with.
Yeah. Like I say, I even see us doing it at Christmas time when we're doing the end of the
Yeah.
year stuff, because by that point we'll have had a handful of them to
Yeah.
judge them a bit more. But yeah, it's fine. I think it's worth trying. I think if you like either of those actors, if you like Kristen Bell, if you like Ted Danson,
I do particularly love Kristen Bell, so I'm going to stick with it for that alone.
I like both. I probably like Ted Danson a bit more actually, but I happen to really like Cheers as a show. So
Makes sense.
but Kristen Bell's good too. Also, if I say her name really fast, it almost sounds like Christian Bale. Kristen Bell, Christian Bale, Kristen Bell, Christian Bale. Oh, really close.
Jesus.
Really close.
Oh boy. But no, I do think it helps having them as the leads. And like you say, they were the two characters that you tend to like.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, really. It's the fact that you've got two good actors there that are just good anchors for the show.
I see potential, but I don't think it's unlike Speechless, where I immediately at the end went, okay, I'm definitely watching the whole season of this. Whereas with this, I'm like, I'll give it a few more and see if it starts to build and it starts to get a flow going, which is fair. A lot of shows do take time. Parks and Recreation is one of my favourite comedies, and the first season of that's dire. It's only 6 episodes, but that first season is dire.
Same goes for The Office, which, thinking of that, Sure is on both of those. And this is from
True.
him, so maybe there's a trend there.
Yeah, maybe. So we'll see how this goes. So yeah, that's The Good Place. That's our thoughts on the first double episode. No spoilers. I don't think there's any need. There's a couple of jokes that were funny. I don't think there's any much point in reiterating them. Check it out if you want to give it a try, and you might think it's worth sticking with. So yeah, but certainly potential's there. I think there's potential for a show
Definitely.
to grow out of this. So yeah, Good Place, NBC. Thank you very much for watching. Let us know what you thought of the show in the comments below. like and subscribe and all that stuff. Helps us out a lot. Keep coming back to the channel for a bunch of more pilot reviews and new seasons and stuff that's returning. There's a lot coming tomorrow, so look out for that. So guys on Twitter, mailed_fuzz. Keep watching TV, guys. We'll see you next time.